Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Red Friday. It's the home opener for the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. It's a football Friday. It's a Red Friday. It's a Friday, all of which are reasons for celebration here on 580 Sports Talk. We are with you for the next hour and a half on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. My name is Dan Let's try that again. Dan Lucero. You'll hear, I jumped ahead a few syllables. Can you tell I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately at the Lucero house? Kiddo's going through a little regression, a little teething, a little diaper rash. It's been rough seas for the last week. And so very few Z's. I'm going to blame that. I choose to blame that for my frequent slips of the tongue throughout this week on the program. But no, my name's Dan Lucero. That is my name. I know how to say my name. You'll hear from Spencer Dupuis and Brendan Brzezinski later on in today's show as well. And as I mentioned, we're here for an hour and a half today, which is an awkward frame of time and also not a very long frame of time. So here's what's happening today. We got an hour and a half of 580 Sports Talk as you know it, and lots to get to today, including Sunday's Super Bowl rematch at Arrowhead. The Kansas City Chiefs trying to avoid that dreaded 0-2 start as they take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll break it down. We got keys to the game, predictions, big Chief picks, and our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, joining us at the bottom of this 3 o'clock hour to help us break it down even further. Lots of Chiefs content here in the opening hour of the show. In the second hour, which is really a half hour, we got our 580 Sports Talk picks, and we've got What Is Wrong With You. And then we'll bring you the Coaches Club, the 580 Preps Coaches Club, week number 2 of high school football in the state of Kansas. We'll hear from 6 of the 8 city head football coaches on tonight's Coaches Club. The other 2, of course, will play against each other, and it's a game you're going to hear over on our sister station, Country 106.9, our 580 Preps Game of the Week. Shawnee Heights hosting Topeka West. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick from Tecumseh. So we'll hear from the coaches who aren't playing in that game from 4:30 roughly to about 5 o'clock. And at that point, we will hand the ball to the Royals Baseball Network for game 1 of 3 of an interleague series between the Royals and the Phillies. Again, a 5:40 pregame start to that broadcast on the Royals Baseball Network. First pitch tonight from Citizens Bank Park scheduled for 5:45 Central Time. And you know my opinion on must win, do or die. You're not out of it until the math says you're out of it. I still believe that. I still stand by that. But it felt like the season might have ended last night when C.J. Kafis took John Schreiber deep in the 8th and turned a 2-1 Royals lead into an eventual 3-2 loss to the Guardians. And if it didn't end then, maybe it felt like it ended when the leadoff runner reached in the 9th and Kyle Isbell, who's been such a good bunter for the Royals all season, tried to bunt a pitch a foot over his head for strike 1, swung at the second pitch and fouled it off for strike 2, and then tried to bunt a pitch 3 feet over his head and fouled it off for strike 3. Some of the dumbest baseball playing and some of the worst fundamental baseball playing of the season. And that kind of feels like roll credits on the Royals season. Not officially, of course, but doesn't feel good with 15 games to play for the boys in blue. Anyway, we'll have them tonight and throughout the weekend taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. So that's why we're short today. We're off and around 4:30. We'll do Coaches Club. We'll do Royals baseball. Tonight over on Country 106.9, we got high school football. Tonight over on the Big 94.5 Country, we've got K-State football. The Wildcats trying to salvage this season that is already circling the drain 3 games in as they take on Arizona in a non-conference game against a conference foe. In the second year in a row we've done this. 6 o'clock pregame from the K-State Sports Network from Learfield. An 8 o'clock kickoff. National TV on Fox if you can't watch it, of course. Or if you can watch it, but you'd rather listen to Wyatt Thompson and Stan Weber, which I could totally understand, you can catch that broadcast on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Get it? Got it? Good. We want to hear from you throughout the show today. Text us. 785-272-9429 is the text line number. That is, again, 785-272-9429. You can also hop in the YouTube comments if you're watching the program on our YouTube stream. Again, the name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Hop on in, interact with us in there. Good afternoon, Vance. Mark is in. Tyler with some frustration over John Schreiber's BSL last night. And Christopher appears as well. Christopher asking what kind of flowers are appropriate for the funeral of a Major League Baseball team. I'd go with royal blue ones for the one we're talking about personally, but I suppose it's a matter of taste. Anyway, welcome to all of you, and look forward to hearing from more of you. Again, long way to go today and a short time to get there. So let's get into it, shall we? It's a Red Friday after all. And man, I don't remember the last time that going into a regular season game, so many Chiefs fans were so convinced that their team was going to lose. I don't think it's happened in the entirety of the Patrick Mahomes era. I don't think the confidence level for a single game has been as low as it is for this Super Bowl rematch on Sunday with the Philadelphia Eagles coming to Arrowhead Stadium. 3:25 kickoff, 2 p.m. pregame on the Chiefs Radio Network. Catch it on our sister station this week, the Big 94.5 Country. The statistics sort of bear that out because this is only the second time in his career as a starting quarterback that Patrick Mahomes has been an underdog on his home turf. It's extremely rare. And look, I'm not saying that I don't understand it. It doesn't come from nowhere, right? Last time we saw the Chiefs play the Eagles, didn't go very well for the Chiefs. We don't want to belabor that point, but it was one of the biggest Super Bowl beatdowns we've ever seen, regardless of what the final score ended up being. That was one of the most one-sided Super Bowl tail kickings in the history, the 59-year history of the big game itself. That's the last example we have of the Chiefs playing the Eagles. And the last example, the only example of the 2025 Chiefs we have is pretty underwhelming too, because they lost in Brazil to the Chargers last Friday. And so the confidence level is lower than I've ever seen it. And it'd be one thing if it just felt like, oh man, it's going to be a hard one. Hey, we can pull it out, but boy, this is going to be a tough game. Like, that's one thing. Like, you get that a handful of games every year. You get that when, you go out on the road to play Buffalo, or, when in the occasions where a division rival has actually been verifiably good and you got to go on the road to play one of them, or you do have to play one of the cream of the crop teams, the NFC, like when they've had to play the 49ers in recent years on the road. Those have always felt going in like, well, hey, this won't be easy, but we got a chance. We got 15. We always got a chance. I am not sensing that at all. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. Jump in the YouTube comments or text the show, 785-272-9429, if you are the exception that proves the rule here. But man, from social media, from everything I've heard, from everything that's been texted to the program, there's not a lot of belief right now in the kingdom. There is not a lot of confidence right now in the kingdom that this Chiefs team is going to find a way to avoid the thing historically that you really want to avoid, and that is starting a 17-game NFL season with an 0-2 record. And it is entirely possible that happens because the Eagles are good. They're very good. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. They're capable of coming on the road and beating the Chiefs. They did it in the regular season a couple of years back when it was a Super Bowl rematch back in 2023. You remember the game? The one where the Chiefs were about to score the winning touchdown or the go-ahead touchdown, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling just dropped it. You remember that one? I know you have to be specific when you're talking about, hey, remember that game where Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropped a big pass? But, bear with me. So that's not to say there's no chance for the Eagles to win this game. I'm just surprised how resigned to a loss so many Chiefs fans feel like. It really startles me that a team that has won 3 Super Bowls in this era, that has a 2-time MVP and future Hall of Famer at quarterback and a future Hall of Famer on their sideline, and maybe one of the greatest defensive coordinators in the history of the game, that you look at that and say, oh yeah, no chance we're winning this week at any point. It has shocked me that has been the tenor of the conversation this week, that has been what feels to me. And again, tell me if I am wrong, but to me, what I have seen, what I have read, what you, the listener, have brought to me to this point suggests an unprecedented lack of confidence in this regular season game. And I know you don't pick the Chiefs to win every week. They have never gone 16 or 17-0, but this is different. I'm telling you, this feels really different. But here we are. It's the Chiefs and the Eagles for the second time in 3 games, so to speak. And of course, we start with our keys to the game. And even though I'm the only one here, everybody's got keys to the game. So we'll rip through some keys to this matchup on Sunday at Arrowhead. Biggest thing for me is the Chiefs have to start and remain in sync on both sides of the ball, because they never got there against the Chargers on defense. And on offense, it took them a while, and you could understand why. They lost Xavier Worthy 3 plays in. Xavier Worthy was your wide receiver 1 for that game. You had a lot of stuff designed for him, and all of a sudden, he's not out there. So you can do one of 2 things. You can junk it, or you can try to run it with somebody else. And neither of those are really great options, as it turns out. Now, once the Chiefs made the adjustment and adjusted to not having Xavier Worthy on the field, the Chiefs had 5 drives. Their last 5 drives, they scored on every single one of them. But the early going was tough, and them being out of sync is what caused the Xavier Worthy injury. And speaking of Worthy, by the way, we'll pass this along in case you have not seen this news widely reported. Xavier Worthy officially doubtful for Sunday against the Eagles, though he did go through some practices today. The Chiefs have listed him on the final participation report of the week as doubtful to play on Sunday. Jalen Royals has been ruled out. So again, 3 of the top 4 or 5 wide receivers for the Chiefs not available for Sunday. That's not ideal for getting and staying in sync either, but Chiefs have to find a way. They've had a week to prepare for the likelihood of not having Xavier Worthy. They've had a week to put in a game plan that doesn't really include or doesn't really lean on that presence on the field. Well, now they got to go and execute it. And it won't be easy because the Eagles defense is really good. And they'll have Jalen Carter, who they really didn't have for the first game of the year because he spit on Dak Prescott before there was a snap from scrimmage. But you have to find some level of synchronicity on offense. You have to find that rhythm early on so you don't dig yourself a hole. And then defensively, you can't have the missed tackles, the blown coverages, the missed assignments, the kinds of things that happen too often. You can't get out of your rush lane and let Jalen Hurts scramble. You've got to communicate. You've got to be on your P's and Q's. Steve Spagnuolo, in speaking to the media earlier this week, sounded frustrated with his own performance against the Chargers. I would expect this team to be a little bit more ready and a little bit more in sync on defense in week 2. My other key to the game, don't get spooked by last year's results when it comes to your plan of attack defensively. In Super Bowl 59, the Chiefs dared Jalen Hurts to beat them. Jalen Hurts beat him. Jalen Hurts against heavy boxes, 7 or more men in that line of scrimmage box, he was 8 for 10 for 120 yards and 2 scores passing against those heavy boxes. But I still think the best way to beat the Eagles is to make Jalen Hurts do it, which means loading the box, forcing him into 3rd and long, staying disciplined in rush lanes, showing him different blitz looks, and so on. Jalen Hurts has been incredible in both Super Bowls he's played against the Chiefs. That's a fact. They might be the 2 best games of his career. Certainly 2 of the absolute best performances of his career have come in the biggest games he's ever played in. But if you start to fear Hurts or pay him too much respect based on that small 2-game sample rather than the larger career-long sample, which notably includes a performance against the Chiefs 2 years ago at Arrowhead in which he went 14 of 22 for only 150 yards and no touchdowns and 1 interception and 5 sacks taken. If you start to fear Hurts based on the small sample instead of taking the big one, then you're beaten. So the Chiefs have to stay aggressive. They have to stay in the box. They have to stay disciplined against Jalen Hurts because the way to beat the Eagles is to try and make him do it. And if he doesn't, you tip your cap, just kind of like you did in Super Bowl 59. But that's still the way through the Eagles, is to put a lot on Hurts' shoulders, make him make difficult throws, and keep him from being able to escape the pocket for big games. Other keys to this game. Brendan had this stat, and Mitch Holtz has had it when we talked to him yesterday, too, voice of the Chiefs. The Chiefs were not good on third down against the Chargers. And when you go back to Super Bowl 59 and include the last two first halves that the Chiefs have played, so the first half of the Super Bowl and the first half against the Chargers, the Chiefs are 0 for 13 on third down in those games. They did not have a 0 for performance on third down in the 23 regular season, the 23 playoffs, or the 2024 regular season. So the Chiefs have to find a way to convert on third down, keep that offense on the field. It was their superpower last year, right? Because like we talked about all season, they weren't explosive. They're not going to pop a bunch of splash plays, but whatever third down they get into, they're going to find a way to convert. They're going to find a way to have success on third down. Well, they haven't found a way to have success on third down in the last two times we've seen them out on the field, particularly in first halves. How do you win third down? Win first and second down. Get into third and short. Means you need fewer yards from your running back. It's easier to get open and quick game for your wide receivers. Have to stay on schedule, have to stay ahead of the sticks against an Eagles team that would be more than happy to get you into 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, because what can you do in 3rd and long? Come after the quarterback. And that, for the Eagles, ended really well for them when they were able to do that against the Chiefs last season. Speaking of pass rush, Brendan points this out as well. The Chiefs pass rush has to be a lot better. Justin Herbert against the blitz last week, 11 of 14 for 173 yards and a touchdown. That is torching the blitz. So the Chiefs have to find a way to get home. And they have to find a way to get home with 4. You still have to rush with discipline. Again, Jalen Hurts, it's funny, for a quarterback who's as athletic as he is, and we talked about this with Mitch Holtz yesterday too, he's never been a prolific scrambler, capable but not prolific. He had 2 touchdowns on scrambles on Thursday. So you have to keep him from doing that if you can. Best way to do that is a disciplined and productive 4-man pass rush. Spencer points out these keys. First thing, contain the ground game of the Eagles. Keep them behind schedule. Keep them behind the sticks. Limit the splash plays on the ground. Don't let Hurts out of the pocket. Stay out of 3rd and 4th and 1 at all costs, because those are automatic with the tush push. And the Chiefs have to establish their own running game. If we're talking on Sunday night about another game where the top 2 running backs for the Chiefs only get 10 carries, we're probably not talking about a win. Flat out. We're probably not talking about a Chiefs win if they only get Isaiah Pacheco 5 carries and Kareem Hunt 5 carries. And that doesn't mean force feed those guys the ball. It means they got to be part of the game plan. They have to be used effectively on first down to make those second downs easier, make those third downs easier. I've never believed in the idea that, well, you got to run the ball 25 times to win. It helps. Sometimes if you run the ball 25 times and you won, that means you were really good passing the ball early and you could run out the clock and bleed the clock out late and just run it. So I don't believe necessarily in that correlation, but I do think it will help the Chiefs. It will behoove them, to use a word I've used a lot of late, to be able to establish a running threat early in this game. There never was one that the Eagles had to respect in Super Bowl 59, which is another reason they could tee off on Mahomes in the pass rush. So those are our keys to the game. How realistic is it that the Chiefs can follow those all to a victory on Sunday? Want to see your predictions in the YouTube chat, 580 Sports Talk, on the text line, 785-272-9429. We'll give you ours next, then talk to Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider. We are just getting started on this shortened Friday edition, Red Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. 329 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting started on this Friday. Again, we are off just ahead of 4:30, so we can bring you the 580 Preps Coaches Club before Royals baseball tonight. Lots of sports on the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations this weekend. Go check out our Facebook page, WIBW News, and our social media accounts, 580 Sports Talk on X. You can see when and where you can hear your favorite teams. Quick recap. All weekend, Royals on 580. That's easy enough. K-State tonight on the big 94.5 Country. High school football tonight, Shawnee Heights, Topeka West on Country 106.9. On Saturday, little 11 a.m. kickoff for you. We're going to bring you Westwood One's coverage of college football. No, check that. I'm sorry. Compass Media Network's coverage of college football. Alabama taking on Wisconsin in Tuscaloosa. We're going to bring you a national college football game on Saturday morning here on 580. Then the Royals in the evening and Washburn football on Saturday. The Ichabods at Colorado School of Mines tomorrow. It's a 1 o'clock central kick, 12:30 pregame. Then on Saturday, or Sunday, Royals baseball early on 580. It overlaps with the Chiefs. That means Chiefs-Eagles will be on the big 94.5 Country. Big 94.5 Country will have the Chiefs Radio Network broadcast. 2 p.m. start, 3:25 kick. And then Sunday Night Football. Vikings and Falcons from Westwood One right here on 580 WIBW. There will not be a quiz later in case you missed any of that. All right, let's get to our predictions and our big Chief picks for Chiefs and Eagles. And perhaps you could call it a reflection of the general attitude, but it's not an optimistic group of 580 Sports Talk hosts this week either when it comes to predictions. According to Prairie Band Sportsbook right now, up in Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta, the Eagles are 1.5-point favorites. Again, marking only the second time in his career Patrick Mahomes has been a home underdog. Eagles minus 1.5. The game total is 47. Brendan's on the Eagles. He's on the Eagles in the under. Eagles 25, Chiefs 21 is his prediction. By the way, we're keeping track this year. We've never kept track before, but we're going to keep track of how we pick the Chiefs games this year. All of us are 0-1 straight up because we all picked the Chiefs last week. All of us are 0-1 to the spread because we all picked the Chiefs to cover -3 last week. Spencer and I are 1-0 to the total. We both correctly had the over last week. And we'll also give Big Chief points. So if the player we pick as our Big Chief does, in fact, have an impactful game, we get a Big Chief point. None of us got a point last week. Very poor prognosticating on the part of the 580 Sports Talk guys. Maybe you're hopeful it's a second straight week of that because, again, Brendan's on the Eagles to cover the 1.5 on the under 47. His Big Chief pick is Chris Jones, but he sees the Eagles winning 25-21. I don't think there's a path to victory for the Chiefs. It doesn't involve an impactful Chris Jones game. Spencer is choosing a different pass rusher as his Big Chief. He's going with George Karlaftis, but he is also going with the Eagles to cover. He's on the over. 27-24 Eagles is Spencer's prediction for Sunday. Have we learned nothing? This is my rhetorical question to Brendan and Spencer, but it's to all of you who are not believing in Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the 3-time Super Bowl champion, the 3-time defending AFC champions this weekend at home. How soon we forget, oh, Mahomes is an underdog? That's bad news for whoever they run into. Oh, they're doubting the Chiefs? Uh-oh, that's bad news for whoever plays the Chiefs. This is a team with something to prove. This is a team with a lot more on the line than the Eagles have in this game. This is a team with home field advantage, one of the best home field. Whatever happened to belief in home field advantage? The loudest fans in the league. Where's your belief in that? I can't believe Chiefs Kingdom is so down on their team's chances to win this week. You know who's not down on the Chiefs' chances to win this week? This guy. The Chiefs are winning. They're winning on Sunday. 23-21 is my pick. So obviously I have the Chiefs covering. I'm on the under 47. Chiefs 23, Eagles 21. It's going to be a lower scoring game. The defenses are going to make some plays. The Chiefs are going to make one more play in the end. I think a Butker field goal at the end wins it. My big chief is Tyquan Thornton. And the reason my big chief is Tyquan Thornton is reading the reporting coming out of the Chargers game. They tried to keep some of the Xavier Worthy stuff in the playbook when Worthy got hurt and have Tyquan Thornton run it. And they just missed him and Mahomes on a couple of deep shots. But they have some chemistry on the deep ball. They hit on one in the preseason, remember? I think Tyquan Thornton's going to make an impactful play or two in this game because he's now had a week to practice as Xavier Worthy in the offense. And I think they're going to – I don't know that he's going to have 10 catches or have a huge, individual stat line, but I think he's going to be impactful. I think he's going to make a play or two that are really impactful in this game. And damn it, the Chiefs are winning. You can tell – You can remember I said that when they win on Sunday night. You're going to say, hey, I doubted the Chiefs. I disrespected the Chiefs. Deal with the Chiefs. The Eagles are going to have to on Sunday. They're going to win. The Chiefs are going to win. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll get Matt Derrick's thoughts, our Chiefs insider. He joins us next on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, Matt Derrick, who covers the Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com. Find him across all matter of social media by searching for Matt Derrick. Catch him every Friday at this time on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, what has stuck with you the most from the Chiefs' performance in that opening game in Brazil, that 27-21 loss to the Chargers? Whether it was good, whether it was hopeful, whether it was negative or worrisome, what has stuck with you the most from that first 60 minutes?
Just how that team came out flat. And maybe it can all be explained by the bus ride. Maybe there might be 8 different things that could have contributed to this team just not coming out with the energy that we normally see them with. Maybe the Xavier Worthy injury zapped whatever mojo they had, but you're just not used to seeing the Chiefs outplayed. And it happened in the Super Bowl. It just happened in week 1, and it doesn't happen very often. I'm willing to throw a lot of things out the window because weird things happen in international games, Dan, but I'm still stuck on that one. Just, how in your season opener that you can just come out looking so lethargic and flat.
Yeah, they certainly did. And offensively, at least, they were able to find a rhythm. Ultimately, they scored on their final 5 drives. Mahomes was terrific. It was on defense where I think if there's lingering concerns in how the Chiefs performed, it's probably on that side of the ball. What to you was most concerning about that defensive performance? And is there an immediate fix for what went wrong in week 1?
Yeah, to me, I mean, the most, I think, disappointing thing was clearly the pass rush. That was something that, you don't really get to see it too much in training camp. You can get a feel for what you think a team's pass rush might be like. And we didn't get a ton of watching this team and the first team in the preseason. There were probably a few signs. I mean, there were more signs about maybe that the run defense might be an issue, but you weren't really thinking that pass defense was going to be as much. But Justin Herbert had all day in the world to throw. I bet they didn't have to clean the uniform. The only thing maybe his pants after that slide at the end to steal the game. But other than that, he just looked untouched. And that's just something that I think you thought that having the Chiefs back at kind of full strength, with Charles and Minihue starting the season at full strength and being healthy, you just thought that the pass rush was going to be better. And they just didn't really get anything accomplished against the Chargers. That could be a problem against the Eagles when it's not, to me, so much that you want to be able to get pressure on the quarterback and you think you're going to be able to pile up a lot of sacks because Jalen Hurts is tough to get down, but you need your defensive line to be able to hem him in. You can't let him escape and beat you with his legs. That's what he did against the Cowboys. And it's just how much confidence that you have that the defensive front can do that after that game last week against the Chargers.
Matt Derrick is our guest, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. Looking ahead to week 2, a couple of spots from week 1 that are either upgradable or need to be upgraded upon, whether it's with just better play or with different personnel. We'll start in the slot on defense. Shamari Connor had a really rough game. It seems like the ideal alignment for the Chiefs is Christian Fulton outside and Trent McDuffie kicking back into the slot. But how close are the Chiefs to being able to do that full time, or is Christian Fulton still kind of playing catch up from having missed all of camp?
I mean, that's exactly what Steve Spagnuolo told us this week, that with all the time that Christian Fulton missed, not just in OTAs, but training camp as well, that he's just behind, not only in just knocking off the rust a little bit, but behind in doing things the way that the Chiefs like them done in the secondary and defending things the same way. And if the Chiefs don't have trust in Christian Fulton doing things the way they want them done, they're going to have somebody else playing. And, right now that's Jalen Watson almost exclusively, because after that, Christian Wallace is mostly a safety now. I mean, he is Shamari Connor's backup, and that's probably a separate question because Shamari Connor's the guy playing the most in the slot. And I don't know that it's necessarily dependent upon the Chiefs having another corner step up to be able to play in order for, Trent McDuffie to maybe get more of those snaps. But for sure that if you don't have Najee Johnson, if you're not confident in Christian Fulton, you're not ready to throw Noel Williams out there, then yeah, I mean, it probably does mean that McDuffie and Watson are the only two corners that you're going to play a lot now. And if those two guys are the only corners on the field, Jamari Connor's going to be in the slot. So it's kind of process of elimination a little bit. And, and McDuffie, hey, he wasn't really challenged a lot. I don't really know that he got an opportunity to really have a good or a bad game. The Chargers just kind of wisely stayed away from him, but they went after everybody else, and it worked pretty well for them. So, I mean, you're going to have to tighten things up a little bit somewhere. And if it means reinforcements at corner, if it means, going to somebody like a Noel Williams, if it's waiting until Najee Johnson gets back, or you just at some point you have to put Christian Fulton out there and see what happens. You're going to have to try some things out. And I think that the Chiefs know that, because even going into the beginning of the season, Steve Spagnuolo and I think Dave Merritt would have both told you that they don't know what they have in the secondary. And it might be until the second quarter of the season until they figure it out.
I wonder if your answer to this question would have been different Monday than it is now, after we heard Matt Nagy directly call out his play by name. But how short do you think the leash is for Jawaan Taylor at right tackle after his disaster class on Friday in Brazil?
It felt a little bit shorter after what Matt Nagy said, but at the same time, it sure feels like that the Chiefs want Jalen Moore in reserve until they really know that they're past things on the left side of the offensive line, that they want him ready to be able to step in, whether it's Kingsley struggling. I don't think it'll be Josh Simmons struggling, but, could Josh Simmons have a physical setback? That's always possible. I think they want to see what they've got on the left side of the line for a while. I still think it would, and Tate, you could certainly run into an in-game situation like the Chiefs did Jawaan Taylor's first year in Jacksonville, where they felt like they just had to get him out of there and give him a reset. I still feels like that they've got a fairly long leash on him, just because they want to make sure that those two other guys are settled in before they address anything on the right side. And I think that ultimately they still feel like that Jawan's a player that they can trust. And let's face it, with the money on the books for this year, you got a $27 million cap hit. You're not unloading Jawaan Taylor. He's not going anywhere. So is he going to be $27 million in your starting lineup, or is he going to be $27 million on your bench? That's your decision. And I think that the Chiefs right now are of the philosophy that they're going to roll with what they've got and just make sure they're set on the left side before they consider anything that happens on the right side.
Talking to Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's look ahead to Sunday, the Super Bowl rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles coming to Arrowhead for the home opener. You're privy to more conversations with and amongst Chiefs fans even than I am. It's on my timeline. We hear from our listeners and all of that. You hear from even more people as a beat writer for the team. Can you remember a lower level of confidence for Chiefs fans going into a regular season game than there seems to be for this one, that they can win the game?
Ooh, it's been a while. I mean, at least one that's a legitimate, not like a week 18 game or something.
Right.
It's been a while, and I'll be honest. I mean, there's also, I don't remember the last time that I think that there was this much distance between what the team feels internally about themselves and what kind of the fan base temperature is. It certainly seems like Chiefs fans are really concerned after what they saw in week one. And the Chiefs, I mean, I think it feels like that they saw week one maybe more as a cautionary tale than, than a warning sign that something's wrong. And I kind of get that because, like I alluded to earlier, I mean, I think to a certain degree, you can take international games and just kind of throw them out the window because they're so weird. Good teams will lose games, bad teams will win games in international contests, and it doesn't really necessarily seem to have any difference that's happened on the games before or after them. And the Chiefs, I mean, they've kind of felt the same way. I mean, the only lesson I really see from the Chiefs taken away from that Chargers game is just that they came out with a level of energy and emotion that's unacceptable, and they know that they can't do that again. But otherwise, I think that they feel like all the problems that they experienced in the Chargers games are fixable.
So, as the Eagles come to town, the defending Super Bowl champions, and everybody's obviously got the Super Bowl 59 outcome very fresh in their minds still. And I think that's part of why you have the relative lack of confidence in a good result for the Chiefs on Sunday from even Chiefs fans. What in this game to you stands out as the most important factor? The thing that the Chiefs are going to have to either do or keep the Eagles from doing that will really define this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be very similar to the Super Bowl, and that it's going to be the team that plays the best in the trenches that wins this game. And that's exactly what really came down to in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Chiefs' offensive line could not protect Patrick Mahomes. So until late in the game, they really couldn't get anything going offensively. The Chiefs' offensive line's got to be better. They've got to be better on the left side. Left tackle has got to be better. Uh, if they can't protect Mahomes and give him time to throw, you could end up having a very similar situation again. I mean, I still don't think it's going to be a blowout like that, but if one of these teams blows out the other, I think it's more likely to be that the Eagles blow out the Chiefs than the other way around. And conversely, other side, I mean, the Chiefs' defensive front did not play well against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was able to get away with whatever he wanted to that day. They can't let that happen again. And that kind of happened last week against the Chargers. You've got the Chiefs' strategy for the most part against any quarterback, like a Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, is that they want to keep these guys in the pocket and force them to win from the pocket. Put pressure on them, absolutely, but don't let them get outside the pocket, make plays either with their arms or with their legs, because those are the ones that are just going to break your back. They want to keep these guys in. And if it starts up front, and if the Chiefs front four can't play disciplined, if they can't control the line of scrimmage, then, I mean, Chiefs aren't going to win this game.
My cohorts don't think the Chiefs are going to win this game. A lot of Chiefs fans don't think the Chiefs can win this game. Have already mentally either penciled in or just girding themselves for the possibility of the dreaded 0-2 start. I do think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they'll have a sense of urgency. I think they'll play with pride and defend their house. I think the crowd will play a role. But what say you, Matt Derrick? Are the Chiefs going to avoid that 0-2 mark?
I think they will. I'm not confident, but hey, Eagles, they're not going to have Dallas Goedert. It looks like Landon Dickerson's good to go. They need him. Otherwise, injuries aren't that bad. But you remember Josh Sweat was such an important part of that game. He's one of the pieces that's not there anymore.
Milton Williams, another.
I mean, there's a few faces in that defense that have switched out. There's a few on the offensive side, so there's a little bit of difference there. And you look at what the Eagles did against the Cowboys, and even the actions of Howie Roseman will tell you that he's concerned that the Eagles feel like that they're missing some pieces. So I feel like that, hey, from a football standpoint, the point spread's probably about right. But the ultimate thing is that the Chiefs do not come out with the juice for this one. If they don't come out ready to win this game, and they're not the more energetic and the more physical team, then that's a problem, because this should be the game that they want to win and are more energized for than any other game on the schedule. And if the Chiefs come out as the Chiefs that feel like that they're the number one team in the NFL and they know the target's on their back and they don't care, they'll win it.
Matt Derrick covers the Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com and is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, appearing with us every Friday at this time. Matt, always a pleasure. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds great, Dan. Take care, my friend.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk with On Second Thought next. On second thought, I don't think that Kansas City Royals AL Central Division champions prediction I made is coming true. Don't have a ton of time on today's show, but last night's game, more so than any of the other losses the Royals have experienced here in the last couple of weeks, there felt like some finality to that one. That felt like a punch in the gut. If the Royals could have gotten out of there with a split, I think they would have felt pretty good on the flight to Philadelphia to take on a red-hot team in the Phillies. But CJ Kafis, whoever that is, I didn't even make fun of the guy, and he killed the Royals. Whoever that is, he hit himself a bomb, and I think may have driven a final nail into the Royals' coffin. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we got our 580 Sports Talk picks. We got What Is Wrong With You. Then we're out of here for the 580 Preps Coaches Club and Royals Baseball. Stay with us on 580 Sports Talk. And second and final hour, really half hour of 580 Sports Talk on this Friday. Here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our video streaming channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube and WIBW News on Facebook. We are out a little ahead of 4:30 today. That's when we'll bring you the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Hear from the city head football coaches as we get ready for week 2 of the high school football season tonight. Again, our 580 Preps Game of the Week will air over on our sister station, Country 106.9, as Shawnee Heights battles Topeka West in United Kansas Conference action. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick on Country 106.9. Myself and Spencer Dupuis on the call. Speaking of Spencer, he's here. Hi, Spencer.
Hello.
And Brendan Dworzinski is here. Hi, Brendan.
Good afternoon.
Great to have you guys along for the 4 o'clock hour here, half hour on 580 Sports Talk. Again, we will do the Coaches Club, and we will follow that with Royals baseball. Royals Phillies, game 1 of 3 of that 3-game set at Citizens Bank Park tonight. 5:30 or 5 o'clock, pregame coverage from the Royals Baseball Network. So we don't have a ton of time here. We'll go ahead and we'll sprint headlong into our 580 Sports Talk picks. We do it at the top of the 4 o'clock hour every Friday during the football season. You know the rules by now. We take our lines from Prairie Band Sportsbook up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta. We pick 2 college football games and 2 NFL games against the spread each week. And we have a wild card pick, which can be another spread, a team total, a game total, player prop, whatever you like. So I regret to inform the listeners that if you're betting with us, well, I guess if you're betting with us, I don't need to inform you. You're keenly aware of this. It's been a slow start on the 580 Sports Talk Picks contest. Spencer is in the lead with a record of 3-4-1. And that kind of indicates how things have gone for the rest of us. I am sitting at 2-4-2 after incredibly 2 pushes last week. Baltimore +1 against Buffalo is going to haunt me the rest of the season.
Remarkable stuff.
Brendan 1-4 last week. He's bringing up the rear at 2-6. So, you know the rules. You know where the lines are coming from. Let's jump headlong into it. And Spencer, you're in the lead. So let's go ahead and get your college picks first. No Marshall pick this week. It should be noted. Marshall, Eastern Kentucky, not presently on the board. So we cannot get Spencer's Marshall
redemption pick,
Thundering Herd, green lock of the week. Instead, we get these 2 picks.
Yeah, we do. We get Michigan going to cover the 27.5 as they host Central Michigan. That's my lock of the week.
Okay.
And then we've got Virginia Tech covering 5.5, hosting Old Dominion. Those are my college picks.
I have some concerns about Virginia Tech. They kind of look like they quit on Brett Pry last week against Vanderbilt.
I'm up in the air, but I think they'll beat Old Dominion by 5 or by 6. Excuse me.
I think if they lose that game, Brent Pry is going to be emptying garbage cans by next week. I do not think he survives this week if they lose.
I'm beginning to be skeptical that he'll survive the season anyway, but that was such a grim second half performance against Vanderbilt that it doesn't seem like it's trending in a real good direction.
No, it's done.
But sometimes in college football, that's when teams are most apt to bounce back. So those are Spencer's college picks. Brendan, would you like to give us your college picks?
Yes, I've got 2 road favorites here. Kind of a weird week across the board. Number 1, I'm going UConn as an 8.5-point favorite at Delaware.
Is this our dumpster juice game of the week?
I don't know that it is because I don't know that UConn is that bad anymore.
Fair enough.
They're going to win. They're going to beat terrible teams that they've beaten by games, although Delaware's not even a bye game. They're going to go to whatever 6-6 bowl game they won, and they're going to be kind of reasonable, and they can run the ball a little bit. Delaware still got an FCS roster largely, so I'm going to take UConn as an 8.5-point favorite on the road. My lock of the week, going out west, the Falcons of the Air Force Academy, 4.5-point favorites. That's what they're laying on the road in Logan against Utah State, who might be kind of bad. The advanced metrics, very kind to Air Force through a couple weeks. Very unkind to Utah State so far. Air Force laying 4.5. I will take the Falcons. Did you know that they have a junior varsity team?
Yes, they did.
Did not.
Yes, they do.
They have junior varsity. They have lots of junior varsity sports. In fact, when I covered junior college basketball in Western Nebraska in a previous life, North Platte Community College played the Air Force JV. I broadcast that game. I did not have a roster for the Air Force JV. I made up their names on the spot. Apologies to those kids.
So I take that back. I did know that because Navy also does as well.
So if you're ever wondering why those schools are never, at least in recent memory, are not always like horrific for 10 years in a row, they can kind of balance out the amount of experience they have with young players. It's kind of fascinating. Air Force's JV, I believe, went undefeated last year, maybe just one loss. So those young kids playing pretty well.
My college picks this week. I'm going one game being played tonight. I'm laying 4 points with Houston at home against Colorado.
Not believing in Ryan Staub?
Martin Luther Staub? Man, we're just comparing anybody to any old buddy to Martin Luther King these days. Houston, laying 4, like them a lot. I think they're the kind of team, the kind of mentality that Colorado's going to struggle against. And if Coach Prime is juggling his quarterbacks this early, that seems to me to be a crisis of confidence. Connor Wegman's played well for Houston in the early going. I like Houston to win that game. I'll lay the 4 points. Also, Duke Tulane on Saturday night in New Orleans. Darian Mensah revisits New Orleans with his new team, the Duke Blue Devils. I think Tulane's real good. I don't think Duke is. Tulane only favored by 1.5 points. I'm going to make this my lock of the week. Tulane laying 1.5 points at home against Duke. I just think they're better.
That's a weird one. That's a strange line. I would have thought it would have been a bigger spread.
So those are our college picks. How about the NFL? I'll go first. We'll go in reverse order here. San Francisco is only a 3-point favorite at New Orleans. And I know they're starting Mac Jones. Trust me when I tell you this, Kyle Shanahan will get the best out of Mac Jones. Like, Kyle Shanahan's been getting the best out of mid quarterbacks ever since he's been the head coach at San Francisco. You are not getting like the Patriots, Mac Jones being coached by Joe Judge and throwing to plumbers. You're going to get, he might be throwing to some plumbers.
You're going to get Kyle Shanahan coached Mac Jones also throwing to plumbers.
He might be throwing to some plumbers, but they're coached by Kyle Shanahan. And New Orleans is a dumpster fire. I think San Francisco's defense is legitimately good and will carry them through this game. I think it's a coaching mismatch. I'll go San Francisco and I'll lay the 3 points. And like I said at the top of the show, guys, I'll put my money where my mouth is here on this one. I'll put my name on it. Kansas City is winning on Sunday. The Chiefs plus 1.5. Patrick Mahomes has only ever been a home dog, I think, twice.
Once. This is number 2.
So they're not starting 0-2. They're not losing this game at home. Mahomes isn't losing this game at home. They're going to find a way. Kansas City plus 1.5 at home against the Eagles.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes loses this game. I think 52 other guys do.
Yeah.
That's my, like, dude, their pass rush looked like a JV team against the Chargers.
Hey,
like that
scares me. After I listened to Mitch Holthus talk about their travel nightmare getting to the stadium on Friday night, I kind of feel like there might have been a little bit of a justification for that went beyond they're bad now.
I hope so. I hope Mitch is right.
I'm just saying, like,
I hope so.
They will not be lacking for juice and for energy in this one. They're going to get their lick back. I got Kansas City plus 1.5 winning out.
I don't think Philly is like unstoppable though. We talked about that earlier this week. Like, I really don't think they're great.
Give me your NFL picks.
Buffalo is going to not cover in New York against the Jets. They can't stop the run. Jets are going to only run with Justin Fields and Breece Hall. So give me the Jets getting 6.5. Minnesota at home as well Sunday night. 3.5 point favorite. JJ McCarthy is having a baby this week. Dad boost.
Spencer's on the opposite side of one of those games.
Yeah, I am. Buffalo. I think there's no Breece Hall is not Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So they're Justin Fields is not Lamar Jackson. So I'm taking the 6.5 there. And Baltimore, I've got them the 11.5 favorites over Cleveland. Derrick Henry, unstoppable. We'll get back to him in a second.
Yes, go ahead and get right back to him with your wild card.
I've got Derrick Henry over the projected 91.5 rushing yards. He was just a demon on Sunday Night Football. He'll continue it this week.
I actually kind of like that one. Brendan, what is your wild card this week?
Tampa Bay at Houston under 42.5. Houston is going to have to win games 13-10 all year. That offensive line is an abomination.
I am going back to the college game. I'm going to tonight's game, K-State and Arizona. Avery Johnson's rushing yard total is 38.5. This is the week to do it. If there was ever a week to say, damn the torpedoes, let's use our best weapon, especially with the return, it sounds like, of Dylan Edwards tonight. This is the week to get the most out of your dual threat quarterback as a runner. And you might need to, because Arizona's been moving the ball at will and scoring the ball at will. You better empty the clip tonight, Matt Wells, and that includes running Avery Johnson. I'll go over 38.5 rushing yards for the K-State quarterback. Those are our 580 Sports Talk picks for this week 3 of college football, week 2 in the NFL. We'll take a break, come back with What is Wrong with You? Crown a weekly champion next on 580 Sports Talk.
If you're contemplating a new heating or cooling system in your current home or planning new construction, you'll kick yourself if you don't price geothermal. People in this area who've gone geothermal absolutely love it. They get quiet, even comfort, save about half, even up to 75% on their monthly heating and cooling bills. A water furnace system usually pays for itself by about year 7. Choose the experienced geothermal heating and cooling professionals, Ground Source Incorporated. They've installed hundreds of geothermal water furnace systems in our area. Let Julie and Tim Dugan do a free heat load analysis and estimate. If you've been waiting, now's the time to take advantage because the renewable energy tax credit is 30%. Use the Earth's reliable, renewable, natural energy to save money month after month. Talk to Ground Source, the geothermal professionals in Kansas. Call them at their Holton office and get comfortable with significant savings.
Ground Source Water Furnace. Smarter from the ground up.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port, and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
There's a full house in the stands tonight, and it sounds like they're excited about the huge variety of defensive traits of Pioneer brand sorghum seed. Pioneer sorghum hybrids are bred and tested to perform in your fields. That superior sorghum selection wins yield contests year after year.
We want sorghum. We want sorghum.
And it's Pioneer brand sorghum for the win.
Plant the 100th season of Pioneer. Visit pioneer.com/grow sorghum.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-399-7272. 800-399-7272. Again, that's 800-399-7272.
WIBW, Topeka.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
It is What is Wrong with You time on 580 Sports Talk. 2 new stories competing today. Try and take down our current weekly champion, the Fragrant Felons. 3 gentlemen who robbed an Ulta Beauty store in Santa Barbara County, California. $2,000 worth of perfume and cologne. Cops knew they had the right car because when they pulled it over, you'll never believe what it smelled like. 2 new stories today. Spencer, go first.
Yeah, we're going to the great state of Florida. In Orlando, man, Jose Rosado, no, not the former Royal, 45, faces multiple felony charges after allegedly threatening a tow truck driver with a knife and striking him during a confrontation at an apartment complex. Deputies responded around 10:30 p.m. Sunday about a call about a dispute over a car being towed. The tow truck driver said he was hooking up a vehicle without a parking decal when Rosado intervened, cutting the tow strap with a knife, threatening him, and struck him in the forehead with the tow truck's remote.
Yowza.
According to the arrest report, he took the truck's keys and fled, but was quickly apprehended nearby. A knife and a set of keys were recovered, and the tow truck driver identified him as the man who attacked him.
Look, I understand being emotional about your car getting towed,
Yeah,
but
nice.
bringing a knife into things. Also, glad to hear that is not, in fact, a former two-time All-Star pitcher for the Royals, Jose Rosado. It's a different guy, thankfully. My story today, we're going across the pond. We meet 44-year-old Dr. Suhail Anjum, who is applying to work in medicine in the UK again. He has to apply to work there again because he had left. And one of the reasons he had left is because the last time he was practicing medicine in the United Kingdom, he left a patient on the operating table under anesthetic to go have sex with a nurse in another room.
Jeez.
Anjum and the unnamed nurse were caught in a compromising position by a shocked colleague at Tameside Hospital in Greater Manchester. The incident in September 2023 came to light in a fitness to practice hearing. He did not dispute the evidence against him and said his behavior had been shameful. The consultant anesthesiologist said he needed a comfort break and asked another nursing colleague to monitor the male patient halfway through the procedure. Then he went to another operating theater at the hospital and had sex with a woman referred to in the hearing as Nurse C.
Well, I'm glad their position was comfortable.
Yeah, compromising but comfortable.
Been there before, brother.
Listen, can you keep an eye on this guy? I got another patient in the other room I got to go give a hot beef injection to, if you know what I mean.
Oh, my God. Vulgar. Vulgar.
So I'm going to go with that one today.
I agree.
But since it's an older story coming to light, I kind of might lean toward the Fragrant Felons continuing on as our champ.
They're just
they got a feeling about that. I got a feeling about it for this month.
Yeah. They had no chance they were going to get away from it. There was no hiding the evidence. You reeked of Chanel No. 5. Your entire vehicle. That is our winner for the week.
Is that white shoulders?
What is wrong with you? The Fragrant Felons. When we come back at the 580 Preps Coaches Club, that means 580 Sports Talk is over for the day. Thank you for listening. For Spencer, for Brendan, I'm Dan. This was 580 Sports Talk. We're back on Monday for 3 to 6. Until then, good night.
Do you have pain in your feet, ankles, knees, and back? When I'm on my feet a lot, I get sore feet, knee, and back pains. Hey, it's Greg Akagi from the Good Feet Store. When you step into the Good Feet Store for a free personalized fitting and test walk, you can feel the difference almost instantly. I've been wearing the Good Feet Store arch supports for almost a month, and let me tell you, it's made a difference in everyday activities. Walking with no pain makes such a difference. I might even start trying other things that I didn't want to do before. The Good Feet Store is America's arch support experts. They have hundreds of locations throughout the U.S., and now they're open right here in Topeka. Good Feet Arch Supports slip into all the shoes you already own, and most importantly, can help with foot, ankle, knee, hip, and back pain by properly aligning your body from the ground up. If you feel like you've tried just about everything to get rid of that pain, learning if Good Feet Arch Supports will work for you is as easy as going in for a free fitting and test walk. Live the life you love, free from foot, knee, hip, or back pain. It all starts with one visit to the Good Feet Store. Schedule your free fitting and test walk at goodfeet.com or just stop by the Good Feet Store at 21st and Wanamaker near Target.
My name is Heidi Dixon. Mom, Jackie Wolf, was the patient of interim hospice. I live in Texas, and after Mom got on hospice, when I came back to Texas, interim was a huge lifeline for me in terms of information. Maria, the social worker, was a dream. Going every other week, sharing a picture and what Mom was doing and what was she saying and what was she looking forward to. And she brought us right into the room with Mom. And she said when she was planning to go next, and as a hospice worker in Texas, I was asking our social workers, are we doing this? This is amazing. She was so engaged with Mom and so connected the dots for us. That was invaluable. Aside from Mom's increasing comfort with the pain management provided by hospice, the social work connection and support, those were the two most visible benefits that I continue to be exceedingly